Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast. I am the Black Patriot, and this is the Wrestling Podcast, where we always put wrestling first because wrestling is the number one priority. Remember, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's a small thing for you, but for me, it means the world, and it means the world to the channel. And jumping right into the video, I'm posing a question. Has 2025 been the worst year for WWE? Is this the worst year in wrestling? I wouldn't say that. There are several promotions outside of WWE that is thriving. AEW is doing good. We have Stardom. We have New Japan. There's a bunch of other wrestling promotions other than WWE. So instead of calling 2025 the worst year in wrestling, I will call it the worst year in WWE. Mind you, WWE is going to post a bunch of figures, a bunch of financial figures, and I do not deny that at all. I know they're making money hand over foot. I know they got their Saudi deals. They make money off of WrestleManias. They make money off these PLEs. I'm not talking financially. Is the company in good standings? They've merged with Endeavor. It's TKO. Financially, WWE is stable. This is the worst year to be a fan. This is the worst year for content. This is the year that WWE died. It's doing the death spiral right now. If you hadn't noticed, ratings are down, buy rates for these PLEs are down, viewership is down, but yet the ticket prices are going up. Why would you charge people more for a product that they're clearly not interested in? These products are boring. These products are bad. These shows are missable. These shows are skippable. They're unwatchable and downright boring, to be honest. And all this can be laid at the feet of Triple H. I've said it and other people have said it. It's time for him to go. He needs to be removed. He needs to be removed from the position of the COO because clearly he does not care about this company anymore. You can tell by the way he handled John Cena's retirement tour. You can tell by the way he handled John Cena's heel turn. Those two things should have been the biggest thing in wrestling. And for a moment, the heel turn was. But then leave it to Hunter to just destroy it, make it bad, make it terrible, make it crap, because that's what he does. He takes things and he takes a dump on them, he takes a crap on them, and then we, the viewers, the consumers, the fan, then we can have it. We can have these storylines, we can have these wrestlers, these superstars, but only after Triple H shits on it. That is where we are. And there's a couple of reasons for this. And mind you, this is just my opinion. Nothing I'm saying is set in stone. I am only giving my opinion. But I would say one of the main reasons is the failure to capitalize on people getting themselves over. You know what I mean? When someone is organically over, when the fans choose who they like, it seems like instead of getting elevated and getting the push, it seems like you get punished for getting over. LA Knight is a prime example, probably the biggest example of this. There's been others, but LA Knight is probably the biggest example of this. Got himself over, get big reaction from the fans, can stand in the ring with Roman Reigns and the fans cheer for him. You're not going to sit up here and tell me that Roman Reigns is your guy. He's the head of the table. He's the tribal chief. But the fans are chilling for LA Knight. If you go back and you look at the matches that LA Knight had with Roman Reigns, the fans were clearly on LA Knight's side. They wanted LA Knight to win. We all wanted LA Knight to win. He gets nothing. He don't get to win the Money in the Bank. He don't get to win the Royal Rumble. I stopped getting my hopes up. It was times I was like, all right, well, he didn't win the Money in the Bank this year, but I was like, he's definitely going to win the Royal Rumble, because I come from an era where that's exactly what happened. If this was 1999, LA Knight would have been elevated up the card. It's just simple as that. This was even in the 2000s. If a guy was getting that kind of reaction, they will be elevated up the card. But he gets nothing. So at this point, it's either somebody backstage has something against him, or what it is, they don't like you getting over when it's not their plan. Drew McIntyre is another example, another glaring example of this. Drew McIntyre has all the tools to be the top guy. I've always said I don't think Roman is better than Drew McIntyre. I never thought Roman Reigns was better than Drew McIntyre. But Roman got the machine behind him where they continue to push Drew like a jobber. What is with this dumb continuous storyline that he's always getting screwed? Yeah, he's always getting screwed. He's always getting screwed by management. You have this guy come out and he loses all the time. You even have him get the heck beat out of him by Damian Priest. He received a concerto from Damian Priest. I do not like Damian Priest. I do not like Gunther. They are the two most boring wrestlers that I can think of. Both of them were world heavyweight champions in the past. Now, this is how they play with Drew McIntyre. He was allowed to win the world heavyweight title for what, 5 minutes? Before Damian Priest cashed in on him? It's ridiculous, yo. Chad Gable is another one who had big momentum coming in. Everybody wanted to see him win the Intercontinental title. But what did they do? Pass over Chad Gable for Sammy, and then have him start this American-made stable that goes nowhere. Then they put him behind a mask of El Grande Americano. He got injured, so he couldn't continue that burial, but that's what it was. It's a burial. Nobody cares about no El Grande Americano. Nobody cares about that mess. That stuff is crap, man. Jey Uso, now, get this. You might not hear me out on this. Jey Uso is a catchphrase. He is just a yeet guy, but he got it over. The fans were connecting with him. They were feeling him. He was rocking the arena. He was arguably the most over guy on his show, while LA Knight was the most over guy on SmackDown. I said it before. How you give the yeet man a chance, but you won't give a yeah man a chance? Makes no sense. But they do give Jey Uso a chance. And what, he get 50 days as champion, 51 days, something like that? So he was just a transitional champion just to give the belt back to Gunther. Terrible. Terrible booking. Horrible. You got Curry and Cross. They tried to bury this man, but he wouldn't get buried. Don't give him no matches on TV. Don't give him no good segments, but he's just backstage doing his thing. But his mic work and charisma resonated with the fans. People start cheering for him. We want Curry. And at one point, his shirts had sold out. So he was moving more merch than established stars. And what they do with him? Not re-sign him. Just let him walk away. Why? It has to be because he got over without management, without creative behind him. And they be like, we don't want that. If we didn't create it, we ain't rocking with it. And then you get R-Truth. This is one that's just never set well with me. You fire this man. I've never seen anything like this. This guy gets overwhelming support from the fan. The outcrying was loud and it was heard. So much so that you have to bring him back. They rehire him. He comes out. He cuts his dreads. He's Ron Killings now. He threatens that we're going to get a serious gimmick. Everybody was behind it. The crowd popped for R-Truth. We were all on board. But there you go. That's the thing about current WWE. Never get your hopes up. Because what did they do with R-Truth? Absolutely nothing. A few weeks later, he was back to being a clown. Back to acting stupid. Back to acting silly. We were supposed to get Ron Killings, a serious version. Nope. We got to go back to the buffoonery and the clowning. Never get your hopes up. Because they will be dashed at every turn. The next reason is boring Raws, boring SmackDowns, and absolute trash PLEs. And that has plagued this company the whole entire time. And you all know it. What pay-per-view was good this year? I'll tell you what it was. Evolution. That's it. That's it. Even WrestleMania was bad. How do you fumble WrestleMania? The granddaddy of them all. That's supposed to be, that's the most magical pay-per-view there is. It's supposed to be big, larger than life. But nope. Not under Triple H. You ain't getting no good show. You're going to get garbage. You're going to get trash. You're going to get a plate full of doo-doo. Because that's all Triple H books is shit. That's all he can book. That's all he can produce is human excrement. His booking is trash. He's terrible. That's why these shows are boring. That's why Raw and SmackDown are skippable or unwatchable. That's why the PLEs are trash. And one of the reasons is because a lot of the matches that be on the PLE are matches you've seen already on Raw. Or they're glorified Raw or SmackDown matches. But 9 times out of 10, it's a match that you've seen already. You know it. You know it. And at this point, if you don't know it or you're thinking this product is good, you're in denial. You're in denial. You're off somewhere in La La Land and good for you because they say ignorance is bliss. So enjoy your bliss, but you are ignorant. I'm going to say that much, yo. Enjoy being dumb. Then another reason, the price. They're pricing their core fan base out. And you could look at this stuff. I've used myself as examples. I used to go to WWE events every time they came to my city, and I never had paid more than $200 for a ticket. And that $200 ticket, that was a really good seat. One time I was like 5 rows away from the ring. I've been close to the ring where I've walked down after the show and shook hands or high-fived wrestlers. And I've never paid more than $200 for a ticket. Now, those tickets, 5 rows from the ring, those are thousands of dollar tickets. And that's for Raw. Don't even get me started on PLEs, and certainly don't get me started on WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is 2 nights, so you have to buy 2 separate tickets for 5 rows away from the ring, thousands of dollars, easily. Vince McMahon understood one thing, that WWE should be a family business. He wasn't running a charity by any means, but I think that when he was in charge, I think the tickets price were fair. How about that? I think they were fair. Now, it's no point. And the shows are worse. So why would I pay thousands of dollars to see a horrible dog water show? It's not good. So much so that even Randy Orton spoke out about it. You can look it up online. Randy Orton was like, these ticket prices are ridiculous. Your own wrestlers, your own superstars are saying it. That's how you know it, yo. Another thing that's plagued this company in 2025, long, predictable title reigns. People used to say long-term storytelling. Let Papa H cook. We don't want a hot potato to title. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not saying that that title should be passed around. But what I'm saying is when people have these long, drawn out title reigns, you already know the outcome of the match because you know the champion isn't going to drop the belt. That's elementary. How dumb can you be? How can you not understand that? If you know for a fact that Cody Rhodes going to hold the belt for 2 years, then you know everybody that he faced is going to lose. How can I be emotionally invested in a match where I already know the outcome? Think about that. The next thing brings me to my next point, 50-50 booking. Nobody gets over this way. And not only does nobody get over, the crowd doesn't know if they should cheer or boo. Triple H is famous for putting two faces in a match together or putting two heels in a match together. And then the match doesn't even go to a pinfall. It ends in some kind of DQ or the match get thrown out because he is a child. He is an idiot. He is a professional wrestler, somebody that's been in this industry for over 2 decades, but somehow he does not understand it. The crowd needs a face to cheer for and a heel to hate. You put two heels in the match, nobody gets over. You put two faces in the match, you split your crowd. Come on. This is Wrestling 101. And when the company is failing at the basics, that's when you know there is a problem. And I'll use a perfect example of how Chelsea Green beat Julia for the United States title. You put two and Julia got no pop, no response. They barely responded to Chelsea because two heels together are like two magnets. They just bumping off of each other. The crowd can't cheer for anybody because they're both heels. So obviously they're going to pick the person they like the most, and they're going to cheer for Chelsea, and Julia gets absolutely nothing. No heat, nothing. 50-50 booking is Triple H's calling cards. Match ended in DQs and disqualifications or getting thrown out is his calling card, and that is lazy booking. This man is lazy. He needs to be stopped. Then another big thing that Rock, because they don't even care about the tag team, the division. The division is dead. But how you going to have New Day, one of the better tag teams ever, turn heel, and then you do nothing with them? And the heel turn went off without a hitch. That's the thing about this booking. Sometimes WWE does something great, and then they ruin it. The heel turn, how Kofi and Xavier turned on Big E that night, that was amazing. I got my hopes up. I thought something was about to happen. I thought we was going somewhere with this. No. Went nowhere. They did nothing. Literally had them turn heel and do nothing. Yeah, they won the tag titles, but then they held them for like a few weeks and then dropped them. Not even a month, not even 2 months. And the Reigns did nothing. What have New Day done since they turned heel? They might as well have not turned heel because they haven't been doing anything. That is what I'm saying. You turn them heel for no reason. Cheap pop booking. Not planning ahead, not planning for the future. Triple H just wanted you to pop. He just wanted to pop the crowd that night for the heel turn, but he had nothing for the future in mind. The next thing, the reason why WWE is terrible in 2025, you know it. John Cena's heel turn, John Cena's retirement tour. This was a burial. Triple H buried John Cena. And I'm going to tell you why. John Cena should have never turned heel. John Cena has been hustle, loyalty, and respect for the better part of 20 years. John Cena is to a point in his career where he does not need a heel turn. Again, cheap pop booking. That was just to pop the crowd for that night. So you're going to turn this man heel. It was terrible. It was a debacle. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. And then you do the even more dumber thing. Just randomly have him turn face on an episode of SmackDown without any form of explanation. He just, oh, I'm not a heel anymore. Obviously, as fans, we're going to accept Cena. Obviously. But it was dumb. It was stupid. It was terrible, and it was boring. And Cena offered to give more dates, and they turned him down. Cena said, I'm available. I can be here. I can work with this. And they said, no, we just need you for like 30 dates, something like that. We don't need you. Like, come on. This was Triple H ego. He knew he was never the caliber of wrestler that Cena was, and he wanted to put Cena in his place. The heel turn was ridiculous, and the retirement tour was an absolute letdown. That retirement tour should have been something special. Instead, nobody gave a fuck. You have the man that told you to never give up for 20 years, told us to never give up, and then he tap out to an undeserving hack like Gunther. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. That should have been the reason why Triple H is fired, if you want to be honest. That should have been the reason why Triple H is done out of this company. That is terrible. How can you mishandle a John Cena heel turn in a retirement tour? Man, bring back Vince and get this doofus out of here, man. Doofus son-in-law. Get him out of here, man. And next, this is a personal one for me, but the absolute and utter burial of Julia. Yep. Because you may not see anything in her, but if you have never seen her in Stardom, if you have never seen her matches in Japan, then you are missing out. If you have never seen her as the ruthless leader of Donna Del Mundo, you are missing out. Do not let WWE ruin your perspective of Julia. Just look up her matches outside of WWE. I was a fan the whole time, and every time I used to think she would be perfect in WWE. I used to think that. It was a couple other girls that I wanted to come there as well. But I just thought Julia had what it took to get over in American wrestling. Not saying the other girls don't, because I like Sherry. I especially like Utami, but I don't think they would translate well. But it was just something about Julia, and I thought she would translate well and it would work. And it was working for a minute in NXT. Then she get the call up to the main roster, inexplicably turned heel for no reason, and won the United States title, but absolutely they're not using her to her full potential. Seemed like they toned her style down as well. Julia is a heck of a wrestler. She can go. She might honestly be the best wrestler in the company, but you would never know that. Not by how WWE is using her. They just destroying my girl, y'all. And I was so happy for her to come. I felt vindicated by her because she was the one that I knew would do well in WWE. And then look at what they do to her, yo. Look what they do to her, yo. Next is the unwillingness to create new stars, yo. Like, there's been something that I've heard in the community. I never personally heard this, so I would have to look for it. But apparently, Triple H told Ryback that there will never be a star bigger than the company. That they're not interested in making any more John Cena's or Roman Reigns because WWE is the star. Well, You're not interested in creating any new stars, and you certainly ain't interested in entertaining your fan base, because that's just stupid. There has to be a guy. There needs to be a Cena. There needs to be a Hogan. There has to be a Austin. There has to be a Bruno Sammartino. There must be a Bret Hart. There has to be the defining guy. Roman Reigns cannot be the last, because Cody ain't it. Gunther ain't it. Braun Breaker ain't it. Seth Rollins ain't it. See, even CM Punk he ain't it. There has to be the guy that leads the industry forward. It must, and it cannot be a heel. It has to be a baby face. WWE has lost its way. And Triple H knows this, yo. He knows this. You look at the Attitude Era and you take away The Rock and Austin, and what do you got left? You look at the Golden Era and you just take Hogan out of the picture completely. What do you have? It has to be the larger than life personality that everybody knows. That's the guy. That's who I came to see. That's who I'm buying this ticket for. That's who I want to see win. But nope, we don't get that anymore. Why is that? Who knows? I don't work for WWE. I just watch the product with disdain and make YouTube videos about it. But that is one of the reasons why 2025 is the worst year of WWE, because there's no one translating. There's nobody larger than life. There's nobody the fans going, yep, that's my guy. Can't wait to see him. We could have had LA Knight, but that's too much to ask. We can't have nice things. Then another thing that has plagued the company in 2025, and you know it, pointless factions. Pointless, long-lived factions that just do nothing. Judgment Day should have been broken up. The MFTs are jobbers. The Wyatt Six are curtain jerkers. They're jobbers. Nobody cares about this stuff. But these factions have been going for years. Years. It's ridiculous. What was the Spanish group that Rey Mysterio and Zelina used to be in? LWO. Still going. Nobody cares about this crap, yo. Break these factions up. Use these superstars. Use these guys in the single division, in the tag division. This faction stuff is stupid, yo. And again, I mentioned it before, cheap pop booking. You're two big examples of that. Brought back Brock Lesnar for no reason, just to defeat Cena. Oh, because he was going to pop the crowd. Put him in the War Games match just to pop the crowd. And then what did Brock Lesnar do after both occasions? Ride off into the sunset, never to be seen again. Made big news, signing AJ. Hey, we gonna get AJ Lee. We only seen her twice. When she fought Becky and for War Games. And what she do? Ride off into the sunset. Probably won't be seen again until WrestleMania. This is not something that translates well to fans, yo. This is not anything that we want to see. This makes me want to turn off my TV. This makes me want to pull off my ears, pluck out my eyes. I don't want to see this product. I don't want to hear it. It's bad. As I make this video, I'm going to be watching Raw tonight, and I'm sure it's going to be terrible. I'm sure it's going to be terrible. I've already seen the card. Nobody cares about those matches. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Jovan Evans versus Rio Americano. Come on. Get that crap out of here, man. Nobody wants to see that mess. But it's going to happen. It's going to be on Raw. People paid their money to see this crap. And that's what you're going to get. Absolute crap, yo. So, yes, I agree that this has been the worst year in WWE. It's the worst year to be a fan, and it's the worst year for your wallet, because while they're giving you a terrible product, they're increasing the price across everything. And you can tell, look at all the ads, the ring littered with ads, pulling out chairs, pulling out tables, even the weapons have ads on them. Yeah, they got to pay those people. So how are they going to pay those people? Increase in ticket price, increase their streaming stuff, because obviously the pay-per-views were fine when they were on Peacock, because you had, all you needed was a subscription to Peacock, and then you got the full WWE library, and that was cool. Now you need a subscription to ESPN, and you have to pay for the PLEs, and there is no other content except the PLEs. So, and the PLEs are garbage. So there's no point. There's absolutely no point. We might as well give it up. We might as well give it up, yo. Unless Triple H is removed or the fans start revolting by hitting them in the only thing they care about, their pocketbook, stop buying these tickets, stop buying these PLEs, stop watching these shows. Not because we want WWE to die. We want it to thrive. And the only thing these corporate greedy crooks care about is money. So stop giving it to them, and they'll be forced to change the product. This has been the Tree of Woe Wrestling Podcast. I am the Black Patriot. I will be here. I will always be here, bringing you the dopest wrestling content on the net. Remember, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your wrestling buddies. Peace out and stay safe.